Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Counselor Brooks. And this is going to talk about the 15 week in this 9 to 5 journey. And this 15 week, yeah, I say it's more different, more different. And what happened is that we're in March now. So uh, I'm just trying, so, the stats reset again. So I have the chance now again to actually can beat this bonus consistently to actually, meet that mark. But um, what happened is that, if you remember from February, I was started with the month with a plan, but I ended up barely getting anything. So what this month that is starting out is what I realize is that one of the stats now I'm consistently getting, but one of the stats now is really giving me a hard time now that I need both of those stats together to actually get the bonus. So I have to actually do those things together. So I have to figure out. But um I'm getting better. I'm getting better. And this episode is a testament to say consistency. No matter how bad you are at something, once you do it consistently, you're bound to get better. This episode is the testament to that. No matter what you're doing, if you're if you're doing consistently every day, you're bound to get better. And I can see that. So now, this 15 weeks now is that. So this week, the stats for this week won't count towards my next, let's say, paycheck, but they then is going to count to the week to the next one. So what I'm going to do now is I have to try to start to actually focus and execute because what I realized is that recently I've been slacking because once I got the full employment status, once I get employed, got um got on the team, I started slacking. I started slacking because I was working hard to get the employee status. Then now I got it, and I was trying to pull my foot off the brake, but it started affecting, for example, my attendance. And if I get perfect attendance, I can get bonus and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do now is actually actively, start putting in the work again because I want what I want this month is actually start meeting the stats. This week also the first time I had the serious coaching. So if you remember what I said now that we're on teams now. So that we have a supervisor and the supervisor is now strict and stuff like that. And now that we're employee, we have the benefits now, but we have more responsibility. This is the first time this week that I got you know put coaching where they give me a stat to say, okay, this month I need to meet this stats or else we're going to either be back in coaching or I might get terminated. So like what they basically saying this is that okay, we give you a 3 month leeway to actually learn the job. This month now we're gonna start have you executed. If you're not meeting the stats now, we have to start look at keeping you. So we're seeing that, and that's what also happened this week. So I have to start executing. I have to really start executing well. So because I want to be consistent and good at it. So I'm focusing well on that. And the next thing is this week, as I said, once I made it to the team, the team is getting more friendly. Friend. Remember the start of it? I was just trying to make it. But now we're here, and it's like after all the fights, and me proving myself, it's like they accept me. I'm like, yo, I'm part of the team now. And it's something that I mentioned in the past where I say like, yo, the the business is like a family. They have a family culture, but if you're not really integrated, you have to really work your way into the family culture. But once in there now, they start treating you like family because the team that we're at now, the supervisor wants us to meet the stats. So it's good for them to actually be friendly now because you get it remove the boundary, but also but he also gets us focused so that she can actually get us focused to actually try to meet the stats. Give us criticism and we're more likely to take it because we don't have that hard shell each other. We don't see the supervisor as someone serious. No, they're breaking the ice now. So that's something that I realized in this 15 week that now that I I see the good and I see the bad in this week, but I can take the good from the bad to see if I could implement somewhere else. But that's something that I yeah. So the next 16 week, I guess, is what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna go and start going focus now. Focus because that's the that's the goal. I have to get this attendance good and get the stats so that I could make it to the next month. And I think we're still doing the night shift, but eventually our shift should be changed. Yeah. Well, I just give it an update the next the next week. Yeah. But mm, with that being said, I can't complain about this 15 week. I started off better than the February. So what I'm going to say is that what I learned from the February time was that I have the skills, but the thing about it is that the type of calls are out of my some things were out of my control. And not out of my control, like the fact that I could have solved them, but out of the control, the fact that I realized that my skills were still amateur in dealing with the problem. So, you know, is this month is more where I say, okay, I have to be actively trying to meet those stats because I learned the foundation now, but it's just that episode where I say prayer passive learning versus active learning. I passively know how to do the job now, but I have to be actively doing it now so I can actually execute and meet the stats. Because if I just move passively, I will just be slacking and not meeting the stats. So I have to do now put in active effort now to actually start doing those stuff. So that's what I have to actually execute in the 50, 60 weeks. Yeah, so that's basically it for this episode. And thanks for listening. I look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page Reframing Mindset Podcast or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
It's 9 to 5, have me talking all day. A throwback to my high school and the high school experience. I talk about in my 8th grade when doing English language. So, if you what, if you listen to the old episode in 8th grade, the 8th grade is where I meet some of the new, you know, some of the new friends and stuff like that in the high school. Some of the friends that will carry straight through high school. 8th grade is where I met them. So we usually do English. English language was one of the subjects that we usually do. And what happened is that this, the teacher was, we were learning English and stuff like that. And what happened was, if you listen to the podcast, I'm a very, I think I I dream big. I know I'm very imaginative and stuff like that.